February 1st, 2022. And now, because it's February, the teleportation device, the television, my feet, my piedi, my feet are in New York, the state of New York. I still have a family member somewhere that looks like they refer as. What do you want? I still look like something relatable to some gentleman somewhere that goes by Duke of York, which I don't know by name of this is New York, if there's some form of ability to communicate message of just how confusing and just what's transpired in real life within my life frame. I feel almost as though, if I think about it, this is all this political strife. Then, like, I'm being held hostage against my will as a political prisoner of the state of New York for reasons I can't explain. I mean, I look for answers on here, but all they keep telling me is about Black history, and why they're so important, what they've accomplished, and I'm like, do I have any relatives anywhere? Did we accomplish anything? Am I allowed to, like, actually have a nice life, or do I have to wear donated clothes and and be seated in X-ray technology and purposely hurt? When I go out in public, I get abused. So I'm just curious, at what point do I get to live a life worth living? I mean, it's four decades now, still waiting. So I'm looking on the calendar. There's several calendars. Linda just bought this one. It says here on February 2022 1st, National Freedom Day. I'm like, National Freedom Day? And it has some kind of, like, looking United States unity flag. Then I'm going back and I'm going, what on earth what calendar? She got an American the Beautiful, and it says USA is the publisher. And I'm like, National Freedom Day. I'm like, the teleportation device doesn't say it's National Freedom Day. In fact, what they say is that it's the Chinese Lunar New Year. And they specifically say the country China, Chinese Lunar New Year. Now, my son's school, which is PS31, they go by Blue Jays in this area. That's their mascot for some reason. Has this come home. It's an essay celebrating Lunar New Year with a sharp-toothed monster. I have never heard of this. I thank you for printing this and sending it with Anthony, because I did read through it. I don't know if this is what the locals are saying I am, and that's them in this Bayside village. I have no idea. But the monster's name is Nian, Nian, and it says that their young use shu sui and pass red envelopes full of money to one another. That's interesting, because the monster with the sharp teeth, she has no money at the moment. Her own internal family can't even enjoy that tradition on this Freedom Day, according to the USA calendar. Then I look, and then this was the school. That's the address. And then we've got, with all of these, the Lunar New Year 20... They're celebrating it. This is Groundhog's Day on February 2nd. Today, Antonucci's off from school. Anton is off from school. So They said it was the Chinese Lunar New Year, so they were giving them off on February 1st from school. Out in Ronkonkoma and Patchogue, we did not celebrate such things. Didn't even know what it was about. There was no history disclosed or taught. Now, on my Italian-American calendar, Sons of Italy, where my father was born and then assimilated here, February, here it is, the 1st. See, the flag's the same, but it's not a national Freedom Day according to them. It's not Chinese Lunar New Year Day to them. So I don't know how to interpret that. Here's a small little pocket calendar from Boys Town. On their schedule, it just says new moon, but no Freedom Day, no Chinese Lunar New Year, just says it's a new moon, that's it. On 2022 planner from Boys Town, and this is the product number, I'm looking, and it says February, and it says new moon. Now, I find this very interesting because there were very specific parts of the past by ancient and ancestral where a shared calendar was out of the question. It was completely illegal for several reasons. And now that we're in this digitally enhanced age, it becomes even more daunting a task to quantumly detangle all of these staged events or phase-ins that should have never been, because this is all nefarious purpose packaged in some stupid fight that keeps perpetuating and now growing dangerous. Here's another Boys Town calendar, February, and here we are at new moon. I mean, these look like jail cells. Jail cell for a political prisoner being held with some market dates that then some of the evil powers that be can coordinate on and decide who they want to let out of these cell blocks while they argue and say other stuff and fight for all non-essential equipment reasons. Now here's the thing, teleportation, I don't know where it originates. They say they have a studio in New York. Their target audience on Channel 2 is in the state of New York where my feet are. So they are literally and figuratively teleporting from wherever their studio is. Doesn't matter that location, it's where the target reaches in a broadcast that is over a wide channel of airtime. They have either bought, stolen, or gotten assigned airtime, and they are purposely psychologically damaging what lived here before I arrived, and certainly while I am here, trying to change the message and trying to reprogram over anything cultural that my people may have had at one point is gone. There's no sharing of ancestral and ancient knowledge. I can't even get straight up reasons why is it a Chinese Lunar New Year? How did that make the calendar? Freedom Day for who? I'm the least free person on that calendar. This is what it looks like outside. But when you go out that door and into that sunlight, you have to be careful that people aren't walking around behind you, sticking you with needles, or sending like company and people into your pathway that are going to cause some form of adhesion and then like inability to cease relations and just move on. Because that's happened time and time again here. And here, let's see what the teleportation device has to say, what they want by the state of New York for the people to believe.
Now, February marks Black History Month. The nationwide celebration calls on all Americans to reflect on the significant roles African Americans have played in shaping U.S. history. There will be special events across the tri-state area throughout February to honor those men and women and past events. For more Black History Month stories today and throughout the month, just head to our website, cbsnewyork.com. Well, today marks the start of the Lunar New Year. Families ready to ring in the Year of the Tiger. There are several events planned in the city today, including a firecracker ceremony and cultural festival at the Sarah D. Roosevelt Park in Chinatown beginning at 11 a.m. Now let's get over to Elise with your first alert forecast. I misspoke. I said cloudy when the pictures obviously showed beautiful skies out there.
Skies. Now the thing is,
Now this is interesting. This is how CBS This Morning started, which was Legacies in the Sky, something about a Tuscan something airman. And then they said something about red tail. These are non-significant mentions. I mean, they are significant, but I don't know what they're related to in past movements that caused this level of dissidence. I mean, the red tail used to be the dovetail. I don't know why it was renamed. I also don't know why computer simulation is now just given to private whatever for investing and allowed out when in the New York area, they say in order to get a pilot's license, you have to actually go to an institution, like a college institution, in order to obtain a bachelor's degree and your pilot's license at the same time. But yet I see that it looks like they're getting around that requirement through airtime of a simulation within a computer. But again, it's not very clearly defined.
They are still rare. Black aircraft pilots and engineers make up less than 4% of those employed in the industry.
Now, as a couch potato, I have no idea if that number is really real. Who can check? Who are the fact checkers? Who's able to actually check that? Because this is, if it's not correct, it's portraying them as victims of something that they are not. And it's generating false sympathy.
Street.
I think we're making a change.
Glenn Frazier, founder of Red Tail, made it his mission to diversify the skies.
There is a problem with awareness within the inner city and the urban areas to know that this particular career is a possibility.
the simulators are really a critical component.
Board member Ann Palmer says the young pilots in training now carry the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen, a legacy started by aviators like her father, one of the original airmen.
My father was Second Lieutenant Augustus L. Palmer, an extraordinary father, but an extraordinary man.
This is personal for you.
Very, very. There's nothing greater than to see what your ancestors stood for.
I would really love that education, except for some reason my ancestors and I have lost touch. I don't know how to get back in touch.
Actually honored and perpetuated.
What do you think your dad would say, seeing them take to the sky?
Straighten up, fly right, get it done.
Now, there's two forms of airtime here. Not only cockpit airtime that they're speaking of, but teleportation time in television. within the rabbit ear stations being, I only have 4 main networks, and then there's like 2 lesser known that have really started into like the news program as well, which would be 9 and 11. But originally it was 2, 4, 5, and 7. Those are the original networks for news. Or I don't even know if 5 Fox was originally, I don't know. And then 9 and 11 were added at some point. I don't know when. I don't know if that was part of the transition to a digital package, but again, this is a message that is incredibly powerful, and it's just, for me, it's like I'm stuck watching it because there's no other place to go for information, and all I see is this advertising about why everybody's so powerful and wonderful. And I'm like, right, got that. So you're to blame for everything that went wrong in being able to get to the correct marriage and sending into my whatever all of these really dangerous situations, like Romer, who tried to choke me, and it was reported to the doctors, but whatever. Nobody actually came to interview me for domestic violence or even alert me that that's what they considered it. And then there was the TIMEFRAME problem with bringing me into situations that he knew where he was going and where he was bringing me. I had no idea until I got there. I think at one point somebody mentioned something in his time between here and there about Elizabeth Smart. I don't know who she was. They mentioned briefly on, I don't watch the crime stations, the implications of what humans can be like in their raw animal form does not intrigue me about them. I've had my own share of not being happy with the species. But they actually re-aired something about Elizabeth Smart the other night about how she was trapped in the woods by someone. And they tortured and raped her and did all these horrible things to her. And that, again, is just really disheartening. But at least for her, the journey was short in her abduction and abusers. Mine's been like 43 years just dragged out. Now, this is Channel 7 this morning, which is on ABC. Same date. So this says GMA, honoring civil rights pioneer. Again, I don't really understand the word civil, because the definition I thought like was being of peaceful nature, which sometimes the image in the story reflects the human characteristics of the person involved in the story that the humans and whatever has portrayed, the persons have portrayed. Then there's other times where I see them showing these people called civil rights activists, and it looks like rebel leader army, like wants, if they could pull out from behind the podium a loaded gun, they would shoot everybody that stands up against them or even dare question them. And I'm like, how are they entangled in some construct of the same thing? It seems very clearly markedly different.
Governor of the state is sitting on the porch talking to her. Then you say, you know what, she knows some people.
I don't know of any city or state leader that has not sought her counsel, her wisdom, her support.
Mother Abrams has always been here. And it doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. She's going to be there.
Is this like an infomercial? I mean, like, as a political prisoner, while they're all doing some infomercial about why they're so wonderful in some, I don't know. I mean, at any point, does anybody hold them accountable for the break into the White House and the squatting for 8 years, making dangerous changes for the rest of us in some quiet whatever? Just curious. Because again, I didn't ask for this drawn out 43 years the way that it's turned up and turned out, which means that there's some very real problems in how they're following rules, guidelines, and laws. Here's some stuff I discovered. They named a street. She's in what I would say I've heard described as a very African, like chic or like African garb, or again, if I'm speaking French, costume, traditional from a different faraway place. They named a street after her, and then they give her free $25,000.
That is not all.
Now, is that taking bribes? I'm just curious, because how does, I mean, it's not the first time it's happened. Maybe for her, but Wells Fargo. Now the banking industry's involved.
They heard about the scholarship in your name at Ouachita Baptist University, and they want to celebrate Black excellence in your community. So they are donating $25,000. Annie Abrams Living Legacy Award.
I've been saying this for years, and now.
See, so I know there are charitable people in the world. I just have not really met any face-to-face that have included me in being able to help them help others, or include me in the tribal whatever of my own kind. I guess, I mean, like, again, this seems to be a loud and proud movement that's been steadily climbing and becoming more dangerous, making one question, because it's teetering on purposely blocking my kind, who has etched in stone reasons for needing to be defensive, and stacking the results by tying the hands of my people and literally making political prisoners out of us, which I can't escape from, because this message and stacking of the results is pulling into a very dangerous crossover event. Now, this is how the set for GMA is decorated today.
With the best offers for Super Bowl 56, DraftKings is going to make...
Now, DraftKings, DraftKings. It's a sports betting, which bet, B-E-T, at this point seems like they've taken it over as black entertainment talent. And look, they're taking Gatorade, Gatorade, some guy named Jerry Rice, and they're literally dousing or pouring all of the aid only on the fans of the NFL.
It's going to make you feel like a champion. Bet $5 to win $280 if your team wins. That's 56 to 1 odd.
I don't know what 56 to 1 odds means. They also use a French word called parlay. Now, elle, parlez-vous français? So sometimes I say an overlay parlay, where I'm using what's being displayed and my own concern, because I don't know how to get healthy, find a paying job, and to get out of Linda and Lou's way, because we don't get along. Never have since I was born.
An official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Bassett.
And now I've got doctors who are playing in that Gatorade, like, almost situation, but in their own league. But similar actions that are swearing, and like that there's mental disease, that there's all this sort of stuff that they created in some protecting themselves. And it's part of all the stacking of the results to help some other agenda other than allowing those who are in a political prisoner situation from actually being able to either be rescued or participate in their own defense. It makes it really difficult. And here we are again on GMA. I don't really watch it normally, but we have one talent host, two talent hosts, and there's the third talent host. And this is at channel 7 level.
For the movie.
Here we are. Here's a story.
In her 20s, paid off more than $23,000 in debt, built up her net worth to $100,000 in just 3 years. Zachary Keish will tell us how she did it. Good morning, Zachary.
George, good morning.
Now, they're going to explain how she did it, but is it repeatable? Is it something that other people are able to do? That's really the question, because I have not been as successfully, like, coached or handheld as I feel a larger population has been.
Morning to you as well. You know, this is a great story. This young woman loves to travel and craves the freedom to do more of what brings her joy, something that so many of us can relate to. Now she's using her newfound knowledge as somewhat of a blueprint to teach others how to make that money work for you. 26-year-old Sania Alameen is a self-proclaimed recovering overspender.
The worst that I got was I woke up one day with over $10,000 of credit card debt I was due in full.
In just 3 years, she not only paid off her $23,000 in debt, but she also grew her net worth to $100,000.
Financial freedom is a game changer for women, especially women of color and Black women, because we come from legacies of women being financially disempowered.
Sania got her finances organized using 2 different budgeting techniques.
One is having a zero-based budget. So that means I'm giving every dollar that I make in my 9-to-5 job a job in itself. So
now, question is, how do you get the 9-to-5 job? My resume's been up on the suggested Monster, and it's been up on Indeed for decades. Not a single call for anything important or that helped me work or participate in a way that I could feed my kids and keep my house. Now, the resume's up there as like an whatever, ancient artifact, because the information's changed, but I refuse to update it because we're in decade 4 and it never worked. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole, Cattaruzza. I can't even watch the rest of this program. It's so nauseating. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxy is broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361. The only way I even tolerate this television and teleportation is with a DVR program and a remote, because the commercials are so pathetically mind-numbing. It's like dangerous.